Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we get set to go racing for round number 4 of the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. Hello one and all, and welcome to the show. My name is Old Rambo, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what should be a very thrilling race here tonight from the Nevada desert. It is going to be 100 laps of racing action around this 1.5-mile speedway, and you know that a lot of these drivers have got a lot to play for here tonight as we are getting set to close out the first half of this Winter Series season. Michael Gudger at the moment, he is on top of the points board. He has 9 points clear of Brad Slagle. Slagle himself 3 clear of his teammate Brandon Gregg. Kyle Howard and Zane Bailey will round out the top 5. At the moment, you've got less than 20 points, well, just over 20 points, I should say, 22 to be exact, separating first from 5th place. And when you are able to gain up to 40 points in a race, it is a tight championship battle, but it's only an 8-race season. And it is a championship battle that's going to only continue to get more and more intense as the evening moves along. You take a look at some of the weather on the racetrack. 85 degrees Fahrenheit down to the racetrack, 67 in the air. The wind's almost blowing up to the north, a bit off to the northwest. So you know, again, it's going to be a fairly wild race here tonight. Las Vegas Motor Speedway has long been one of the most intense mile and a half that you can get on the NASCAR calendar, and no doubt it is going to prove to be a difficult challenge for these drivers to master from the Nevada desert here tonight. Well, qualifying at present is underway, but of course, at the moment, you got nobody out there on the racing circuit, so we're going to take ourselves a step back, and we will return with racing action for Las Vegas Motor Speedway in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, we've got everybody qualified up and ready to go, but as always, not everybody is going to be able to make the show, it looks like, as only the bottom 40, or only the top 43 drivers are able to make it. There were 49 that attempted to qualify, so that means that you're going to find yourselves with a fairly empty grid, and a good number of drivers, almost 20 trucks, will be going home at the end of the night. Let's take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like as we get set to duke it out for 100 laps in the Nevada desert. Starting on pole position, you've got Ray Zerkut with June Duda alongside him on the front row. Kyle Howard is down in third with Brett Rucker in fourth. Christopher Loney is going to be in fifth. Bill Hales is down in sixth. Paul Whitten there and Raymond round out seventh and eighth. Michael Gudger and Abram Gostin round out the top 10. It'll be the likes of Raymond Hanneman along with Dan Witt to bring up row number 6. Row 7 holds Robert Jordan and James Mugen. Zane Bailey and Matthew Miles will be on row number 8. Row 9 holds Richard John and James Wertzma. Continuing down through this field to round out the top 20, you're going to have Brennan Gregg and Jeffrey Sinclair. Ryan McRoberts is the 21st, and Jeff Gilmore 22nd to close out the top half of the racing field tonight. Shane Calhoun along with Austin Rez will be in 23rd and 24th. John Holiday and Jerry Turner 25th and 26th. George Rincon and Charlie Birch will be in 27th and 28th. Dale Rapp and Josh D. Berry will round out the top 30. Moving down to the field, you got Brian Huntley Jr., and alongside him, it is A.J. Maglio. Mike McGavin will be in the 33 spot. Brad Slade beside him in 34th. Mike Bagwell is 35th. Mike Allen 36th. Thomas Lane Jr. 37th with John Bualta Jr. down in 38th. Elrich George and Jordan Young will bring home the top 40. Aaron Bradford, Kevin Crawford, along with Frederick Hofstadter will be rounding out what was going to be a 43-truck field, but we got more than 43 trucks as they have decided to let everybody onto the grid. So that's how I know this race is about to get wild. Jeremy Funk will start 44th. Marcus Ice Lightner will be in 45th. Eddie Spruill in 46th. Ricky Willis 47th. Chris Campbell 48th. Addison Brown 49th. Parker Bryant rounding out a 50-truck grid so far. Ruben Bermudez and Cameron Higgins will be in 51st and 52nd. 53rd holds Brandon Park along with Robert Hooligan in 54th. And then moving down to the field, Fred Lester, David Adamson, Carlos Henriquez, Brandon Brooks, and Donald Powers will be rounding out the field. Now, out of all those drivers, only the top 44 have opted to make a start here for this race. So that's how you know that it's going to be a fully packed grid. If you got over 40 trucks ready to rumble, but 45th on back will be opting out of racing action here tonight. And at some point, I can't say I entirely blame them. But still, 44 trucks around this speedway. It's going to be a full racetrack. It's going to be a packed racetrack. It's going to get wild as we battle it out in the desert. Lights are on aboard the iRacing Pace truck. They opted to extend this thing by one just so they could make sure that everybody's caught to the tail end of the field. And good thing they did, because just now the back portion of this field has gridded on up. Marcus Ice Lightner is down in pit road, so might possibly be bowing out before this race has even begun. So we'll take one more lap behind the iRacing safety truck before we get to green flag racing, and that'll give me a great time to shout out what we got coming on up tomorrow night. It's the third seasonal green flag derby from the brand new Slinger Speedway. September the 10th. Practice over at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Racing begins at 8:30 when we go live here on Green Flag TV. It is open to the public. So if you want to come and wreck your friends on week 13 as we get set for the holiday season, well, come on down to Slinger Speedway in the virtual world of iRacing and do get out for $40 dues. It'll be a 40-car grid that will be making that start there, or well, up to a 40-car grid. 60 entrants are possible. We'll have 3 heat races to whittle down the field, and that will be coming on up once again tomorrow on Sunday night. Pace truck will work out of turn numbers 1 and 2 down the Nellis straightaway. Still with a while to get things rolling. And we will work our way through turn numbers 3 and 4. As always, we're happy that you're joining us here on Green Flag TV for a Saturday night, as he'll be in the hands of Razor Cut in his number 25 Chevy Silverado. He'll work out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Waiting now on Barney the Flyman as we fire into the Geico restart zone. Green flag's out. We're racing in the desert. Working out of turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front straightaway. At the moment, Zerka will lead the first lap to green as this field hightails it off and away, down and into turn numbers 3 and 4. It is going to be a wild ride for all involved with Zerka trying to fend off Jim Duda. Duda trying to fight back from the top shelf down the back straightaway as we hightail down into turn numbers 3 and 4. The 25 and the 053 still scrambling it out. Zerka finally clears, and that allows us to jump back to the hornet's nest that is the battle for third on back. Headed up by race winner Kyle Howard, trying to keep the rest of the pack at bay. 3 wide through the tri-oval, deeper in the pack. The 30 truck caught in the middle. And that'll be Matthew Miles trying to just hang on. Looking like he will do so, though, as we funnel it down into turn numbers 3 and 4 off of the Nellis straightaway. It is a wild, wild race that we've got for us here tonight as up to 59 trucks were slated to take to the green flag. We only have 43 that were actually able to make it, and it's looking like Mike Allen, in fact, a late contender for this one, will be the 44th entry. He'll cross the start-finish line 3 laps down, yes, but with the ability to make that time up in the long haul. Howard working the bottom of the 35 of Brett Rucker up on the top shelf as we continue to scrap it out for third and fourth. The 429 of Paul Wigg caught in the fray as we dive down the front stretch and in towards turn numbers 1 and 2. This battle runs all the way back to James Wurtsma down to the 17th spot. Then, of course, you got Dan Witt that brings up the second pack of trucks, and that runs about 5 or 6 deep, and then you get way back out to the tail porch of this field, and from here, we're pretty much single filed on now already in the early runnings of this race. So it is all eyes up front in the battle for third place up. As boy, oh boy, it is a wild race tonight in the wild, wild west. The challenge for these races when you get fields this big is escaping the first salvo of laps clean, and this field looks like they have done that to absolute perfection so far tonight. Not unlike the race that we had just last week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway that saw caution strings galore. The last race we had here in Vegas was in the regular Truck Series season. We had about, a third of the field size there, and they ran caution-free all the way till lap 96, and that forced the race into overtime, and that cost Aaron Raymond a 10-second lead, and he dropped back, ended up finishing just 0.02 of a second behind the likes of Christopher Howell. Zerka still trying to fend off Jim Duda for the race lead. He has not been able to break away in that number 25 Silverado. Duda trying to establish a momentum run as he fires it off a turn numbers 3 and 4. Working the front straightaway this time by as he will get right up to the back bumper there of Zerka, trying to look for the top shelf as they'll fire around the high side. Goes the long way around 1 and 2. That can work though if you can get yourself with a good drafting run down this back straightaway. And looking like he might have it here as he's pulling alongside Zerka for the race lead. Helped out by Paul Witt with a good old bump draft up on the top shelf. But he still has to secure this one into 3 and 4. Zerka pulls the bottom. Duda up on top. Double file, and Jim Duda will lead lap number 9. Zerka not done yet, still looking to battle it out as you dive down the backstretch and into turn numbers 3 and 4. I do believe, though, that 053 truck, he has gotten clear and put a Toyota for one of the first times all season long up into the front of one of these races. So Duda going to look to break away now from the rest of this field. Although with that draft, I'm not so certain that'll be an easy task to do. Looking further down the pack, this is 10th on back as Raymond Hanneman trying to keep Bill Hills and James Moon at bay, along with more. There's a lot of drivers starting to really break apart of their own little battle packs. Dan Witt will be the first truck into pit road on just lap 11 out of 100. Now, the fuel runs are not the longest runs here. You only get about 25-ish laps or so on the fuel tanks around here. So this will look to be a 3-stop race, but that's still fairly early for Dan Witt to bail out into pit road. Paul Witt trying to attack from the low side on Jim Duda, make an effort to go for the race lead. See if this will be one that will end up panning off as we'll continue to cycle things around. And there goes Witt trying to make that dive for the race lead to the inside. It's a tough line to hold, though, around that bottom side of the racetrack as Witt going to track through, and now he's got a bit of a pusher of his own. Abram Gostin has closed up from the back bumper here, and he is now trying to give that push, the air push at the moment, to that 429 truck. Duda still trying to pull clear from the top. Razor cut, now moving up to help out the 053, and all this side-by-side battling, you can see it's starting to bring more and more drivers into the fray. We're up to about, what is that, an 8-car or 8-truck battle now for the top spot as you hightail it out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Top 8 all separated by less than a second at the moment as Duda continues to power through on the top shelf. Whoa, bit of contact behind as that blue truck caught in the middle. Believe that to be Zane Bailey, the 20 truck that just got beat around like a pit bull in the middle of the pack on the backstretch. Somehow able to hang on and will keep this race green. But boy, that was a scary ride for that number 20 as you worked out of turn number 4. Or out of turn 2 down the Nellis straightaway. They are still looking like they're trying to wreck over here in the middle of the field. Meanwhile, front of the pack, the battle's still on between Duda and Witt, and it's not going away anytime soon. Witt, Duda, Zerka, Raymond, Gostick, Gudger, Hanneman, all tucked in a big battle pack up here for the lead. How about Aaron Raymond kind of caught the mix as well as Trevor James Moon, as he has had technical difficulties. He's going to drop out of the session altogether from the looks of things. And how about Aaron Raymond, runner-up the last Las Vegas race. Already driven up 5 spots and trying to battle for the lead. Jim Duda finally gets clear as Raymond will look to hang that one around the long way around Paul Witt. And while all of that is going on, you've still got all of this melee towards the tail end as well. Not looking to be going away anytime soon. And it's good gravy. It is getting hot and heavy up here at the moment as we are looking set to try to close things out. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be a fierce fight for all drivers involved as we're going to be looking set to try to get this race sorted. We are about 20 laps deep now and still running caution free. Las Vegas races, though, in this league, they typically tend to be a bit cleaner than most as we'll continue to work things up and around as well, better late than never to the party. Austin Edstrom will join me up in the broadcast booth now. And Austin, it's been a good race so far. You've had about 5 or so lead changes in the last 20 laps. And so far, you've still got just about everybody packed up in the field on what has been a 40-plus truck grid.
Yeah, I hate that I missed the opening 18 laps of this thing. Las Vegas always puts on a good show, especially in the truck series. I mean, the trucks and the next-gen cars are just really, really good around here. Man, we got a tight side-by-side battle going down to turn 3 between the 6 and the 053 going down into turn 3. Looks like the 6 is going to be able to take that position, but man, it is a tight squeeze down coming off a turn 4 with that crossover move coming out of the corner.
Sure enough, Duda immediately makes that cutback right to the inside, trying to regain momentum as, oh boy, Raymond trying to pinch Duda in, and the 053 going to continue to track up from the bottom, and here comes Paul Witt now, looking to follow suit. Raymond, of course, the defending Truck Series champion and the Series regular. We were talking about it before. Austin finished runner-up by 2 thou after having a 10-second lead annihilated by a late race caution. Looking for that redemption run here tonight, and he's going to lead his first lap of the night on lap 21.
Yeah, good move there from Raymond to take the race lead away from Duda there. Entering turn number 3, able to switch back or protect himself from the switchback coming out of the corner using that outside line. And I think the outside line is probably the place to be whenever you're either passing or getting past. You probably want to defend from up there, and he took the position away on the inside line the hard way and then used the outside to defend the position back. And unfortunately there for Duda, he went back to P3 behind Witt, but Raymond leading the charge right now.
Raymond leading the charge up front. We look back to the middle portion of the 51, getting all sorts of squirrely. I believe that was Josh Berry that got a bit crossed up. Middle of the field, and whoa, boy, right behind him, Christopher Lonnie just losing out in the number 4. James Wertzma losing out of the number 4 as he'll start to slip towards the tail portion here of this field. We're looking at the moment of the battle about 14th, 15th in the pack as Christopher Lonnie trying to find his way to the inside in his MRN Silverado. And right behind series regular Brad Slagle, just kind of caught in the middle and with nowhere to go.
Yeah, just kind of tight racing in here all throughout the field. Nowhere to go, just driver stuck everywhere. Oh man, tight racing entering turn 1. Both drivers fighting for Savy's real estate. Just about goes 3 wide. Somebody trying to peek their nose into the bottom lane there coming off of turn number 2. Was not quite enough room to make that thing happen. Still side by side entering 3, a couple rows deep.
That would have been the 41 truck of Jerry Turner that tried to make that lunge to the inside, give a bit of a shot to the shorts of Brad Slagle. Meanwhile, Mike McGavick will take to pit road, so the number 18 truck becomes the second driver to hit pit road. He's actually spun it entering pit road. So big problems here for the 18 truck. That's going to cost him big time. Now, this is right around the pit stop window, so we're expecting the rest of these trucks to come down to pit road in the next couple laps.
Yeah, he gets lucky it's on the pit stop window, but ultimately he's still losing, what, 10 pit? Well, he's lucky because he was coming down pit road anyway. Just locked it up heavy coming in late. Could not get it slowed up for pit lane. Unfortunate for him, but I guess he knows it into the inside wall too. Pretty heavy contact, so he could have some good damage, but it's going to be a tough break here in the early going. Not even a fourth of the way through the race, and we're going to have that big incident here entering pit road. Tough break here early going.
Looking to be a 3-stop race, but with the tire sets, you're going to be short a tire set on one of these stops, so one of these stops will have to be fuel only. And here come the race leaders, Aaron Raymond and Paul Witt, locking it down as they'll slide into pit road. And here comes the rest of the pack behind, firing in like it's Talladega, as we'll go 3 wide entering the pits.
Ooh, you can tell everybody just trying to push it to that third, just putting it at the end of lap 25, right? Splitting it into thirds. That was tough. Everybody coming to pit road at once at Las Vegas. Not the easiest pit lane, as you can see now, as we pan the camera over. A couple guys spun around. Not the easiest to pit lane. It looks like it's crazy off of turn 4. It looks like you got a lot of room to slow down, but coming off that banking, getting on the brakes, it's a tough one, man. You can get that thing looped around real quick, especially whenever you're coming down with 20 other trucks at the same time. Honestly, really good job for most of the field to not loop that thing around.
One by one, all drivers work their way out to the racetrack. All the race leaders are back in the pit road, so we'll see this siphon through before too long. Here's what happened to Dale Rapp entering pit road. He's been run over by Mike Allen potentially, and oh boy, it's a big block, but Rapp blinked out, and then he got hooked, and the Ford truck in front was already sideways entering the pits.
Oh, I feel like the Celsius machine just kind of came down the racetrack. I think he saw people spinning back across into the grass and kind of reacted and came down, and unfortunately took, I couldn't quite tell who that was out, but took somebody out going down pit lane. Unfortunate there, but just a couple drivers involved. Green flag pit stops at Vegas. Oh man, this many trucks. Blinker just cut into right in front of the 6. If I was leading this race and somebody blinked in front of me and took me out, man, I would be livid.
Let's ride on board with that pass. That was a pass for the lead, by the way, as Aaron Raymond will retake his run to the point. And, well, I can tell you what, it was a bit of an intense drive as he tried to go for the race lead. And this is how it happened. This will be working out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Hang on, because Raymond just barely avoids disaster. And this is all the hazards of just being in the midst of a field. There's Michael Gudger and Dale Rapp, who was blinked out right in front. Hello. And that caused the 6 to go scrambling.
I mean, if Raymond is looking up the racetrack, just focusing on his side-by-side battle, he never notices that guy blink in right in front of him. And he just absolutely pile drives him. So good heads-up driving there from the 6. That could have been disastrous.
Raymond Hanneman at the moment trying to fend off Jeff Gilmore, and Josh Berry just ahead of this group as well. Now a good chunk of drivers opted to not take tires here in this one, and in just a moment we'll try to get a look as to how the pit strategy fully pans out. But I can tell you what, it is it's interesting, right, to see how this is going to pan out. We'll try to get, you know what, let's try to get the top 20 here at the moment on the pit strategy, and this will really, I think, show just how heavily different the strategy is. I mean, we're going to, well, change this over real quick here and take a look at the pit stop time. Look at that, but look at how different that is. 12.1, 8.9, 14.9. The 10 to 12 second times, those are 2 tires. Anything less than that, it's fuel only. 13, 14 plus, that's 4 tires. There's a huge spread in pit strategy at the moment, and that's what's really shaking up the top 20 at the moment.
Yeah, what's exciting about a league like this is them making it where you have to save a tire set. It makes the strategy huge. You see a lot of comers and goers because of it. If this thing runs green, we're going to see people lead the race, you know, this portion that are maybe running 10th at some portion later on in the event as people come fight their way back through the field on the older tires. I love it. I love leagues that are like this. I'm in one that's like it. Makes the racing so fun. The strategies all over the place. Can't wait to see how those strategies kind of divulge as this one carries on.
It's an interesting track, right? Because remember, this is known as the SuperSpeedway Blitz, and Las Vegas isn't a track that you would typically associate with SuperSpeedway racing. In trucks like these, though, you're foot to the floor almost the entire way around here in these trucks because they do not have the top-end speed that a lot of the Cup cars have, where they have to lift off considerably through some of these corners. So this is a de facto SuperSpeedway for a good chunk of these drivers. And this is the second to last mile and a half on the season. The last one will be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the penultimate race. We'll be taking a week off after this one, I believe, for the Christmas break, and then we'll be right back in action just in time for the new year. So we're getting set to wind things down for racing in 2023 for the TNGG IEL Truck/Super Speedway Blitz. It's a unique track to find on, but I have to say, I'm glad they put it on. With the 40 truck field, you're not going to find a much cleaner race anywhere else.
No, it's a great point. And also, you know, you mentioned it's a super speedway league, but they're at Las Vegas. But yeah, I mean, you're just about full throttle the entire time. Not only that, though, it takes just, I don't know, it almost feels like a little bit more finesse than a super speedway, right? You got to save the tires, you got to make sure you can last a long time, but you've still got to be able to use the draft whenever it's necessary. You know, there's a lot of situations where it's 3-4 cars. You've got to kind of navigate the draft, navigate the dirty air, and kind of utilize the bump draft to your advantage at certain points. It just kind of adds another element to it, right? It's kind of a hybrid style of super speedway racing, maybe. Maybe not the most, I guess it's kind of realistic, right? The real life truck series is somewhat similar, maybe just a little bit more dirty air, but really like the product that we've got going on with the trucks here. Really good racing so far. 35 laps, caution free.
Our next run of pit stop won't be coming until about lap 50 thereabouts, right at halfway. Let's look up to the battle for second. Paul Witt, Raymond Hanneman, Ray Zerkut, and Michael Gudger all packed up line of stern, although Gudger looking like he's been falling a bit further off. And he's got the 4. James Wertsma caught in the fray as well, so he got a lap truck in the mix of this here as well. The field spreads out pretty heftily once you get through pit road, and now you got a lot of these just more isolated battles, right? I mean, this is the battle for second through fifth. Back here is the battle for sixth on back. Even further in the field, this is the fight for 12th on back, and then even further, 23rd. So it's interesting to see how many battles are just completely broken apart as a result of pit stops, but held together because of the draft.
Yeah, we've kind of separated into a bunch of different mini packs, but the caution flag is going to come out, throw the strategies just about out the window. I mean, it's, I don't know, that kind of, oh man, it's a huge accident coming out of turn 2, a couple drivers around. We're going to have to get a replay coming through that, but it's going to hurt a couple of the strategies, I got to say. A couple of the guys, not sure if the guys that saved tires and the guys that took tires are going to be the beneficiaries off of this one.
We'll take a look back and we'll find out what happened to John Peralta Jr. and Austin Rez. This is working down into turn number 1, and looking like Rez, man, he has had a bit of a help from Paul Witt in the 420. Spins the 93 around. Thomas Lane Jr. gets collected, but Walda got run over by the 11. So the entire battle pack got collected in this match. It's about a 6-truck incident with a total of 4 going around. The 11 took a hefty shot into the outside wall, and that's what puts us under our first yellow flag of the night.
Well, it definitely looked like a super speedway accident. That's for sure. So, I mean, it looked like a super speedway wreck. just pushing off the bottom of the racetrack just a little bit into the back end of another truck, sends them around in front of the pack. Unfortunate for a lot of those guys, caught up towards the back, not really fighting in it, but everybody in that, ooh, that's a late move as the caution's already out to get through that one, but hey, whatever works.
Whatever works. It's all board with Frederick Hofstetter at the moment. The number 11 truck took a hefty shot into the wall and kind of rebound off of a couple trucks throughout all of this. And then right there, up to the top, there was race leader Aaron Raymond, and he was just trying to duck around this whole mess. And this is what Raymond saw as he was coming up hot on this incident. You can actually see it developing already over there, left side of the screen in turn 2.
Yeah, you can see the smoke at this point. Got to get off the gas, get on the brakes. I mean, goodness gracious, it's a parking lot up there. Got no idea where to go. Luckily, can't really see it out of the mirror right there, but there was a truck steaming up on them, coming ready to take just about all of them out. But I believe just about everybody's on pit road. Gonna be interesting to see who takes tires, who's just in for a splash of gas, and who kind of stayed out, playing the strategy just as is, cutting it in into kind of quarters, pitting at 25 and 50. I do think a couple of people have stayed out.
Looking like the top 8 have all opted to stay out under this latest caution flag. So Jerry Turner, Zane Bailey, Josh Berry, Michael Gudger, Raymond Hanman, Ray Zerka, Paul Witt, and Aaron Raymond are all going to be out. Witt, I'm interested to see stay out, although he was already almost a lap down, so that may have just been a preservation move to ensure that he didn't go down a lap when he was kind of caught off guard by what all just went down there over in turn number 2. Yellow flag is out for the first time tonight. We're going to take a step back. You're watching the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. We are coming to the conclusion of our first yellow flag. 41, well, 40. We are 40 laps deep, and we'll be working to lap 42 with 59 laps to go when we take that green flag. Aaron Raymond still has the pole after the top 8 opted not to pit. So this is going to be interesting, as now all those guys up in the front, they're on a different pit strategy, and they're now off cycle from everybody else. They're going to be pitting, I don't even think, about 10 laps or so for when we go green.
Yeah, the strategy has been cycled up majorly here with that caution coming in the middle portion of that stint. A lot of people coming down, taking gas only. A lot of guys coming down, taking tires. So Gonna be interesting here to follow the next 59 laps. If this thing runs green, I mean, I have no idea. I really have no idea what the right strategy would be at this point.
Pace truck will work its way down and into pit road. Aaron Raymond, again the control truck. Well, more likely Barney the Flagman, the control flagger, I guess, as restarts are on green. Pace truck is in, green flag is out. We are back to racing for Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Good restart from Witt on the outside, but he does not have any help, and I think having to get through the gears in the trucks, getting up to speed, that inside line is going to be favored through 1 and 2, but if the 429 can stay on his door, maybe he can side draft him back, but Raymond going to have that run on the bottom, going to have the push from Ray Zerkut going down into turn number 3. Looks like he's going to be able to take that lead away going down into the corner.
Raymond hangs on to the race lead, but for how long? With the draft, the lead has never lasted too long so far in racing action tonight, as Raymond will lead the first lap. Back to green, we are 3 wide, deeper in the pack, all the way down to the field. We're crashing into turn number 1. Big pile up as a few trucks collected, at least 3, as they crashed entering the opening corner.
It was weird to see the camera pan and see 5 trucks sliding through the apron, going down to turn 1. That accident must have started about at pit exit, if I had to bet, maybe a little bit before it, if they slid all the way down the racetrack, down into the apron. We're going to have to get that replay going here. Good job on the restart there from Raymond, though. Going to kind of stretch out the strategy a little bit. Might throw a wrench into it as well. Man, that's on the restart, isn't it? Goodness gracious.
Ruben Bermudez is among these guys, and Brian Huntley Jr. involved. Paul Witt got turned hard into the outside wall. The 1 of Huntley got turned. Mike Allen slides the inside. The 4 of Wurtzman involved. Dale Rapp involved. The 74, though, of Robert Jordan just broke free from that mess.
Hefty crash coming out of the trioval, I should say. Yep, just bump trap through the middle. They're gone wrong a little bit. Come back on the racetrack. Hip check. Unfortunate, just kind of ran out of racetrack coming back out of the grass. Kind of what you expect, though. There's only a finite amount of space up there. 3, 4 trucks wide, just not going to work at the end of the day.
Paul Witt got turned down. It looked like he was just trying to get back onto the racetrack when all of this went horribly awry for several drivers. Let's get a ride on board with Paul Witt here. I think he might have one of the best views of this to kind of really demonstrate what happened to us as we come down to our second yellow flag of the night. Huntley, my apologies. As was Ruben Bermudez, sorry, in the 429. I'm used to seeing Paul Witt in the 429 truck, and Ruben Bermudez in the 420 is the one that really got pinballed around here.
Honestly, it felt like everybody about halfway on back in the field on back got pinballed around. That was a tough one. Heck, yeah, that was even further back in the pack than I imagined. That was for just about 30th. I mean, that's tough. There's a lot of track position to make up. I mean, could you imagine if that was running for about 5th place? That crash would have involved 25 trucks. Holy cow.
And on board with Robert Jordan, the 74, as he slices through all of this. Never mind, he did not even come close to making it, as Huntley pretty much clotheslined the 74 as he exited the smoke.
He tried to full throttle his way on through there, but unfortunately, that truck in front of him was not transparent like our logo.
No, it very much was not, as it's a very white flag on board some of the Team IEL drivers, and among those, I do believe, is the real Paul Witt, running the green flag colors, quote-unquote, at the front of his 429 truck towards the head of the field. Tell you what, I mean, it may be a caution string now, but at least this time I have somebody to talk to. I wasn't so lucky last night's LTEC race where we had 20 yellow flags over the course of 200 laps. So it's good to have somebody to finally talk to. It's felt lonely up here the last while in the broadcast booth.
Well, it was almost lonely. I almost forgot.
It almost was, yes.
I almost was not here. You were about to be one lonely man, but luckily I came through at the last minute. And my brain woke up, so got a little caffeine in me, and we're good to go.
Of course, working lap 46 out of 100, we will have, I'm thinking 53 to go. Sorry, 53 to go. when we take that green flag again. I think we'll go green at about lap 48, assuming we're 2 to green here. That's my assumption, at least, kind of based on how long we've been under the caution flag by now, and the fact that some of the drivers are already getting into position up on the high side of the racetrack.
I'd have to agree with you, and I think you're just trying to show off your math skills, to be honest. I think you're like, ooh, 48, lap 48,
practicing.
we got 53 to go. Yeah, you were figuring that out for a while, so you just want to throw that out. I think that was a sly little move there. I gotta say.
That's what happens when you when you have to do a lot of math on your own. For a championship round that we had actually on Wednesday night for the Pro America Late Model Series, they came to us for their season finale, and boy, it was a big championship battle. I mean, the third place driver reeled in a 20-point gap and clinched the title by 4 in the 225 lap race at the Five Flag Speedway. If you haven't checked that one out, I would highly recommend it. It's one of the best races we've had in ages. I'm almost ashamed that we couldn't have it in the 24/7 stream.
I'm just happy you've been doing your studying. Cracking open those books, doing your homework. I'm so proud.
Well, I mean, books are expensive, so more downloading PDFs.
Hey, whatever works. Get your grades up.
Have you seen how expensive books are nowadays? I mean, I go to a
Oh,
store
buddy, I
and
went to
books
college
like
3
$40.
years ago. I know.
See,
know.
See, that's the mistake. You went to college. I just bypassed that step altogether. Just went my own way.
Yeah, so I know all too well how much books cost.
Oh, one more reason why I'm glad I did not get a secondary education. Words that may come back to haunt me later. Aaron Raymond will be the one that'll take us back to the green flag. Sure enough, 53 laps to go as we will go green flag race in lap 48. And we're back to green.
Raymond got a pretty good start there over Zerkut on the outside, taking the lead over the driver of the 25. Much easier time there for Raymond getting into turn 1, not getting pinched down to the bottom, able to run the exact line he wants, able to extend the wheel all the way out to the outside wall. And just do whatever he wants from the front of the field, but I do think that Zerkut from second is going to get a pretty good launch here coming out of turn 4. He's got a pretty good run coming out at the top of the corner. Might have enough momentum to get side by side, but the caution's out once again. Lap 48, back-to-back cautions.
And this one brought out by Thomas Lane Jr. Stopped high over in turn numbers 3 and 4. And that truck has found the wall in a big way. That thing is smoking bad. And Mike Allen is also demolished on the inside of the racetrack. What in the world has happened here?
Yeah, it looked like there were even more drivers involved maybe on pit road right now that we didn't even see. 40-car field, it's kind of hard to keep track of all the drivers that get involved in these things, but oh man, just about 4 wide after contact, entering turn 3. More contact in the center of the corner, 74 getting into the side of the 38, and heavy overcorrection from the 38 into the outside wall, taking out another competitor. 2 drivers hardened to the outside wall. I saw at least one more on pit road. Couldn't quite tell if there was another driver involved, but I felt like those were the only couple.
Good chunk of the field is down and into pit road. We'll take some more looks at that one once this pit cycle is through. Now, this is not surprising, right? Because remember, fuel run's only about 25 laps, so we've been on the caution for a while, yes, but hey, split it into thirds, you may as well. And right now, that's exactly what Raymond and a lot of the other drivers have opted to do. AJ Maglio, Brett Rucker are both staying out on the racetrack. John Bualda Jr. is staying out. Actually, that 5 truck right there trying to race these guys out of pit road. And I don't think he beat Aaron Raymond out. We'll see if it'll give Raymond that spot or if Bualda will be indeed restarting in third. And how about that for 4 wide out of pit road? That's not a sight you see very often, and it's not a sight you can get unless you get some really big fields like you got here tonight.
Yeah, I think Raymond probably beat him out there, but a couple other guys stayed out there, were a little bit ahead of the Valvoline truck there. So Raymond still will not restart on pole. A couple guys did stay out. I think a couple guys were trying to go off strategy, do a couple things a little weird, but the quick string of cautions, it's kind of thrown that for a loop and now thrown most of the people on the same strategy. A couple people have stayed out on this caution and they haven't really put any lap time laps at all on their tires, so they probably won't have any tire wear. I imagine they'll still be fast. They'll be able to be competitive up towards the front, and they could have just jumped themselves to the front of the track and got a lot of track position.
Looking like everybody was just a bit kind of insecure of where they wanted to be in that mess, and that's what kind of collected a whole host of drivers there as you worked down into turn numbers 3 and 4, and it was a big wreck, but I don't think anybody else got involved. Looking like Bawalda may have actually committed. So Bawalda did commit to pit road, but he had nothing to do with this, so I'm not sure what his logic was coming down pit road at that point in time. Let's ride aboard with Mike Allen and then Thomas Lane Jr. Allen got a good idea of how this whole thing started, and he had no idea it was coming.
Nothing you can do there. Nothing. I mean, even if you see them making contact down the racetrack and try to turn down, you might just have too much speed at that point. I don't know if there's any way you can get to the left of them. So I think that there's just nothing he can do. Unfortunate that the driver in front of him just kind of gripped up so much and, you know, ripped it to the right. But unfortunately, that's just the way things go at a track like Las Vegas on a restart in the trucks. I mean, everybody's just going to be bunched up. Somebody's going to get the short end of the stick.
One more look on board with Robert Jordan. He's the one that started all of this, and I mean, again, I think he just didn't know where to go. I mean, everybody's slowing up, and you don't want to slow up because you got to get these positions, and we'll have to lead to that big mess.
Yeah, the momentum is so unbelievably important, especially on the restarts. It basically dictates your positioning, where you're able to go, whether you're going forward or backwards. You just can't break momentum, and he was trying to dive to the inside of the racetrack, just dove a little bit too late, got into the left rear quarter panel, and sent him right around. So, tough break, unfortunate, but at the end of the day, that's racing. I don't think it was, you know, anything intentional or there wasn't any malice, but unfortunately, two guys going for the same piece of real estate. I think it was pretty obvious who was at fault, but again, that's racing.
Over halfway home here tonight, Brett Rucker with that race lead now alongside AJ Maglio. Now, the front row have not come down to pit road, and everybody else behind them has. So this is going to get interesting here to see how the top two are going to react to this. Now, they didn't pit too long ago. They pitted about 11 or so laps before this grouping did, and that was, what, about, I'm thinking about 2 laps of green flag running?
Yeah.
So the difference is not going to be massive on the tires here, but it might be a bit. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for the 35 and the, well, the one that's marked 1 on the truck but actually scored as the 03.
I mean, they definitely could be under siege a little bit. I could see maybe the 6 or the 429 kind of gang up on them in terms of the draft coming off of turn number 2. I can see them maybe getting a pretty good shove coming out of that corner and being able to draft up to probably the 35 coming out of, or going into turn 3. Maybe we'll see something like that right off the initial start, but if they can get that lead and get clear, I think either one of the 35 or the 1 have a pretty good shot on those tires.
Pace truck is down and into pit road this time by. Green flag is out, and we are back underway, and a bit of a push there from Raymond to get the 35 truck moving. Did not want to hang around as well. Hightower down into turn numbers 1 and 2, and already Raymond making a big charge. 3 wide for the lead into turn 1.
Yeah, going down into turn 1, they're racing hard. Our leader just pulled up to the top of the racetrack and let everybody go. The 35, just letting everybody go. I'm just kind of shocked what to say. I don't quite know what he was doing there, pulling up to the top of the racetrack. Excuse me. But the 6 of Raymond back to the race lead on the new tires. Kind of everything resetting itself at the front of the field. Everybody back on the same strategy going forward.
John Bawalda Jr. hits pit road, evidently with some sort of a restart penalty. Raymond continuing to hang on for the top spot. Brad Slagle in second, and Hanneman down in third. Jerry turns right 5 more speed as Turner way to the inside. 3 wide again for the top spot, but Turner's going to back out from the bottom after he nearly got put onto the apron by Brad Slagle trying to defend.
Yeah, Slagle with a tough defense, but he gets him the race lead coming off of turn number 4, puts Slagle up 2P1, followed him through on the inside line, though. Still Turner looking to the bottom, entering turn number 1, not quite able to do it. Slides up the racetrack just a little bit, opens the door back up for Raymond on the outside with the momentum coming. He's also got a little bit of help right behind him, a little bit of bump draft on the back straightaway. The Nellis super stretch going down into turn 3.
Look at how big of a gap, though, that Slagle's able to open up just because they are side by side for spots further down in this pack. That is how critical it is to try to get clear quickly. And even more so how critical it is to get 2 trucks that can get clear and then work together up towards a common goal, which is driving away from the remainder of this field. Right now, Brad Slagle still trying to fight this one down to the bottom. You've got Turner and Moore trying to gain some momentum. And how about Aaron Raymond again, still fighting at the top side of the racetrack. But Cleo, the driver that didn't pit under the last caution, still holding his ground at the number 4 spot, working the inside, as Turner will try to drive to the race lead.
I mean, this is borderline pack racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway right now. Everybody doing everything they can to get the race lead in the last half of the race now. Lap 57 out of 100, only 44 laps to go this time around. And they're side by side hard, racing for the lead. Turner, Slagle, side by side, coming out of 2.
Look at that inside lane, though, snaking down the backstretch. That's never a sight you're too eager to see, and it's a sign that these drivers are not so keen to work together, and they're trying to battle with one another instead of helping each other. Slagle still going to try to push the back bumper of Turner, and not going to matter, though. The yellow flag comes out, and this time it is for Aaron Bradford as 35 truck slides to a stop at the infield.
If he's the only driver involved, that's not too bad. Just slide through the infield. Not gonna write home about that.
At least.
Yeah, so far. That's all it looks like so far. I'm not too upset about that. You know, we're not gonna get too crazy.
As we look on board with, following Aaron Bradford now, this is working through turn numbers 3 and 4 as they were tracking around through the final couple of corners, and he may have had some help here, no? And I think he has with the 18 there. That's Mike McGavick. That's going to hook Bradford hard into the outside wall. But you're right, looking like a solo truck incident as, woo, the 40 of Wurtsma just escaping to the inside.
Yeah, I got to say, Mike just never really came out of the corner. You know, you kind of expect somebody to come out of turn 4 a little bit. You don't have to go all the way up to the wall, but you expect them to give a little bit more of a berth coming out whenever you're side by side too wide. He really just got hooked on the right rear coming out of the corner. That's all I can really say about that. Man, that was kind of close, though, coming back down the racetrack.
It's a very close call indeed for the number 4 truck, and pit service looking like it may be the call for a few drivers. Well, there we go. We're playing the mind games
too
now.
early.
And we're playing those games. I think if you were to come in now, it'd be for a top of a fuel. But I mean, if you have a full tire stop left, why even bother? I think a lot of the drivers in the back here, they're more pitting because they're trying to try something else, right? I mean, they're towards the back of the field. They can't really lose a whole lot more than they have right now.
Well, it's fine for them to try to top off the fuel because they're at the back of the field. With it being a 40-car field, if you're at the front, no, you can't give up the track position just for a splash of gas. You're not going to gain anything from that, and it's too early to take those tires. You still got one more pit stop left, so you cannot come down and take them yet, or else you are going to be lonely later whenever everybody else takes their final set.
So we can, we're going to be under the yellow flag as Jerry Turner getting a bit bored. He's going to try to cosplay as the pace truck, but I don't think the Toyota grill on that one quite works with what we have come to the conclusion is quite possibly a discount Chevrolet. We're going to take a step back as they play around up here, and we'll be back with more from the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz in just a moment. Welcome back to Green Flag TV and the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. We are 1 lap to green, under 40 laps to go. Jerry Turner is currently your race leader. 21st on up, stayed out. A good chunk of drives towards the tail end of this field came down and into pit road. At the moment, you've got 30 trucks still on the lead lap, and I'm trying to count it out here, but I believe we will have 32 out of the 44 that initially started this race running on the racetrack.
Gosh, that's pretty impressive. I know we're 62 laps in, 12 guys out is a lot, but man, that's a 44 car field. That's freaking impressive. 32 guys still on the racetrack. Everybody doing a great job here, coming to 38 laps to go. We're getting ready to get this thing sorted. Can't wait to see the strategies kind of figure themselves out here as the pace truck is ready to come off.
Pace truck is down and in. Barney the Flagman with that green flag in hand. He's going to wave that thing as we get back to racing action for Las Vegas Motor Speedway. One from Jerry Turner down in the turn number 1. He's got Aaron Raymond with him as a good chunk of the field just didn't really go there on the restart.
Yeah, Raymond able to fight back on the inside through 1 and 2. 41 almost looks like he gave it to him coming through the corner. Maybe he jumped early on the restart. 6 in the 41, able to get that thing figured out though. Coming through 3 and 4. The race lead goes back to Raymond into 6. Turner not too far behind in the 41.
Double file from about 5th on back. Christopher Loney trying to keep Raymond Hanneman at bay down on the low side of the or on the high side of the racetrack as Loney working the bottom. You got the 20 of Zane Bailey as well, kind of in the fray. Paul Witt is trying to track with these guys as he's working for the top shelf to give a bit of a push to Raymond Hanneman now. I can tell you what, there's a good number of drivers in here that are still looking for some good points, and among them, Michael Gutcher, the current points leader in this series, running back in 9th.
Yeah, multiple drivers in. Oh, hard fight. Somebody clipped the apron up in about P3, causing multiple drivers to scatter up the racetrack coming off the corner. I'm sorry, I could have swore we were about to have a wreck going down to turn 1. It looked scary there for 3rd place. Multiple drivers just about making contact. We've got 3 wide battles all throughout. We've also got a side-by-side battle for P2. Slagle takes P2 away from Gary Turner. Power move on the bottom of 3 and 4.
And now trying to apply the pressure to race leader Aaron Raymond. Looking to the inside. He's going to get to the back bumper. I thought he was about to turn the Good Wrench Services Silverado. They are just able to keep it out of each other, though, as you fire it down the back straightaway and in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Slager did a phenomenal job of ripping this one high and wide as he'll pull clear down into turn numbers 3 and 4, just behind Turner and Hanneman banging doors for 3rd.
Aaron Raymond's looked really good in the race lead a lot of the night, but he's got heavy pressure from the driver, the 052 Brad Slagle. Heavy on his back bumper coming through turns 1 and 2. Slagle running just a little bit higher around the outside of the racetrack. Trying to get the run off the corner. Now dives to the inside, coming off at turn 2. Now down into turn 3. Slagle trying to make the power move work on the bottom of the racetrack. The 6 tries to side draft him through the center of the corner. It does not work. Move Brad Slagle up to the race lead, and now they're side by side for 2nd.
Side by side for 2nd as you work into turn numbers 1 and 2. Raymond up to the top shelf. Turner down on the bottom. Brad Slagle trying to find a hole as well as, whoa, boy, everyone's scrambling down the back straightaway. Michael Gutcher, where did you buy the look out? Turner gets hooked for the lead. He's going to spin to the inside wall. And that's not going to bring out a caution flag as he's too far down. But a solo truck incident and Turner's taken out of the race.
On the first straightaway, hard into the outside wall. Somebody just got turned head on. Multiple incidents in the span of half a lap. Heavy contact on the front stretch. The one hard into the outside wall. Caution finally comes out. 5th one of the night.
Pair of incidents then in this one, and we'll start with what happened to Jerry Turner. This was working the backstretch. And he may have had a bit of a helping, well, he definitely had a bit of a helping hand to this one as coming at you. Raymond, I think, has he gone down, right? He has just a little bit, and he's hooked the right rear of Turner. Spins the 41 around now. Has he hit the inside wall? He was headed for it, but I tell you what, that's right when the corner started, so he did it. That's a very lucky escape there for the 41 truck to not get hooked. And then you had this big hit coming out of turn number 4. This was with A.J. Maglio in the 0-3/1, and he got turned by the 3 of Christopher Loney hard into the outside wall.
Heavy contact there on the front straightaway, bringing out the caution. Gotta throw it for that one. The one on the apron in 3, maybe not. The one sitting backwards on the front straightaway. Probably gotta throw it for it. Tough to get wrecked out of the top 10 like that, though. Heavy into the outside wall. Gonna be basically impossible to come back from that. You can maybe say Jerry's got a chance. That turn 3 incident, he'll put on tires, be okay, but it's a lot of drivers he's going to have to make his way through in 25 laps. It's going to be impossible to get back up into the top 10, and I got to say for either one of those guys.
Once again, it's hard to understate just how hard of a hit this was, as you could feel that one too, and even see it as the truck lifted off the ground. That's concrete where he hit too, right? That's past where the safer barrier ends and before it begins for the tri-oval, which is not entirely ideal. And this is under the caution, and Brad Slagle in there in Raymond. I'm not sure what was. Oh, they had. Truck. Yeah, they had to wait on the pace truck. They were trying to come to pit road, and I don't think they made it because of that.
I don't think they did either. Well, can they come to this? This is the first time open? Because I feel like they should be coming. They should be able to make it to the end on gas, I imagine, from here. They're close.
We were pitting at lap 24 already for the leaders, remember?
Ooh, okay. I guess they can't make it yet then, but we're going to be pretty close here. We're going to be pitting relatively soon after the green flag, I believe.
Once again, we are looking set to have a phenomenal ending to this race, as we'll have under 30 laps to go and take the green flag. Coming up tomorrow, it'll be the 3rd seasonal green flag derby. The first 2 will run at Irwindale. This time we'll swing out to Slinger Speedway. Practice opens at 8 o'clock, open to the general public. Racing action begins at 8:30. Winner gets $40 reduce, no consolation prize this time around. And we're not only going to a smaller racetrack than Irwindale, we're taking away the jump, and we are also adding on a good hefty number of cars. We're upping the field from a max of 23 to a maximum of 40 for the main event. And it's all street stocks. There are open setups, so if you want to find a setup for a figure 8 track, fair enough. I don't think it's going to do you much good, though, when your axles are all bent out of shape.
Yeah, that might not. I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to being there and racing in it, as long as I don't, forget. But as long as I remember, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a fun one.
I better see you in green flag TV colors, or we'll have some problems.
I mean, do you know Painter?
A couple, actually.
Okay, well, then you give me a green flag TV street stock, then I'll be there in a green flag TV street stock.
Lights are out aboard the iRacing pace truck. Brad Slagle with the race lead picks the inside for the restart. Not very surprising. I mean, the leaders do have choice of restart lane, right? But Las Vegas, when you're at a track that's almost put to the floor, it's the logical option to just go to the inside every day of the week.
Yeah, big 1.5 miles. I mean, just the way the turning radius works. You're full throttle, still getting through the gears, still getting up to speed. You can just easily hold it wide open on either lane. So obviously you take the inside line.
I think the one time where you want to take the outside is if you're kind of down on pit strategy. So you're going to move right out of the way in 1 and 2 to let the whole field through.
Yeah, not much point in using it to your advantage, especially whenever you just have to go on green, right? If you could use the jump and clear somebody before you get down to turn 1, maybe in certain situations, especially on certain racetracks like Dover, it can be very, very beneficial. But here, whenever you have to go on the green flag, nah, not worth it.
Pace truck will work out of turn numbers 3 and 4, ducks down into pit road, and will enter the restart zone once again. Brad Slagle into the restart zone, green flags out, and we are back underway from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Raymond got a good jump on the outside of the racetrack, able to clear the 052, getting into turn one, and able to take the race lead back away before they even get down to the corner. Oh man, almost contact between Slagle and Paul Witt through 1 and 2. Both of them able to hold on to it, coming out of the exit of the corner, but they're still fighting hard for that second place position.
Going to single it out all the way back until about Jim Duda, a big contender for last week's win at Atlanta Motor Speedway, currently fighting it out with the 45 of Josh Berry. Well, it's really the 53 of Josh Berry working around the turn numbers 3 and 4. While up the road, you got that pass for third taking place as Raymond Hanneman trying to look to the bottom for the number 3 spot. And as you say that, Aaron Raymond going back to the point in the turn number 3 off the Nellis straightaway.
Yeah, they're side by side for the race lead. Slagle was able to get a run coming off of turn 3, put it side by side, was almost able to retake the race lead away from Raymond. Could not quite get it done before they got to turn 3, and then fell back now into a fight for P2 with Hanneman on the inside, side by side, tight through 1 and 2, both battling hard. Coming off of the corner, still nothing between the two coming off of turn number 2.
Hanneman trying to send it in deep into turn number 3 and 4. Aaron Raymond, Brad Slagle, Paul Witt, all caught in the fray as you work out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. It is fierce, fierce battling, and it's not going to go away until that checkered flag falls. 25 to go. We're in the final quarter of the race as Brad Slagle around the top side of Aaron Raymond through 1 and 2, trying to power through it. Don't think he's going to get there, though, this time around.
I feel like the outside line is the place to be. It's more packed up. You've got a little bit more energy, and you can use a little bit more speed through the corner to carry more speed off that outside line coming off. And I think Slagle's using it to his advantage right now. Just pitching off Raymond a little bit, coming out of turn 4, almost a little bit of contact. Driving really aggressively here for the lead with 24 laps to go.
And still one pit stop to go. Remember, these guys are not safe to the end of this race. They'll be having to stop at least one more time. Well, they'll only have to stop one more time until the end of this race, as we're 3 wide for spots further down in the top 10 as well. But we're keeping all eyes on the battle for the race lead as Raymond and Slagle cannot break away from one another. And here you got Paul Witt in the mix, and oh boy, right to the bottom. That was Josh Berry, one of the trucks at least, trying to fire to the inside, and the 51 is not having a good time with things. He's trying to work his way up through this grouping.
Ooh, we were 3 wide for fourth for a while, but they got stacked up entering turn number 1.
Oh,
driver goes around, coming out of turn number 2. Heavy contact for multiple drivers, hard into the inside wall. One orange truck goes, multiple trucks involved, coming out of turn number 2 with 23 laps to go.
It was that tanked that inside wall. I believe that is that the 9 of, that is the 9 of John Holliday in his advanced sim race machine that has tanked the inside wall, and that's going to be game over for Holliday's night. As a big wreck, and that all started with Jeff Gilmore. We'll get a look on what happened working around through turn numbers 1 and 2.
I'm a little upset. I was hoping we were going to get our green flag pit stop, see if we got some strategy, maybe some no tire takers or fuel only takers, or what we were going to get on pit road, maybe some 2 tires. I was looking forward to seeing that, but unfortunately, big accident coming out of turn 2, multiple drivers involved. I thought it was an orange truck. I don't know what I had originally saw on the main feed, but unfortunate contact coming out of turn 2. I mean, heavy impact to the inside wall.
God, that was a violent hit into the inside wall with John Holliday. We'll get a look back. There's Gilmore spinning around and then hard into that inside wall. Almost Jeff Gordon style.
If it was just a little bit further down into that opening, it would have been. He got, well, I was about to say he got lucky, but this isn't real life. It doesn't matter how hard you hit if you knock the engine out of it.
That was the hefty hit, though, and we'll get another look back at that one in just a moment, as right now got pit stops underway. Now, this I am not surprised about, right? Because at this point, you can't pit and make it to the end of this race. So a good chunk of drivers are in. Maglio, Jordan, though, along with Rucker, are all staying out. So the top 3 that pitted 10 laps before these drivers, they are all going to be staying out on the racetrack.
That's the thing with this caution. Can they make it to the end?
I don't
Saving
think
gas?
they can. It'd be a big stretch.
I don't know. with the caution flags we've been seeing, I feel like maybe they're betting on a couple more cautions.
Could be. Right on board with John Holiday here. I mean, Ryan McRoberts just ran over Jeff Gilmore to cause all this.
And most of the time at these racetracks, you expect them to slide up right off the bat, but coming off of the corner like that where the banking's starting to kind of mellow out, it just seemed like the truck got hooked on the bottom of the banking and never really washed out before it came down and just sat right where it was spinning. Typically, you know, you shoot for where the truck is spinning because eventually it's going to spin away from there, but unfortunately for him that time, the truck stayed right where it was spinning the entire time.
From the spotter stand, and right there's McRoberts just turning the 57 around, and then John Holiday goes face first into the inside wall. Gilmore did a good job to more or less hang on to that truck. I think he got some help to straighten it up, but he's got a lot of damage on the left-hand side, but he didn't lose too much time, and he is still on the lead lap, so I guess that's a positive.
Hey, as long as you're on the lead lap, you got a chance, right? Or at least you know you can get a decent point night.
Pretty
I don't
much,
know if you got
yeah.
a chance to win, but you got a chance to be up here. And we were talking about Maglio being out of it because we saw him go heavy into the outside wall. Well, he's in the race lead. I don't know how he is on fuel mileage, but he's up there. He's in it.
Next week, there's a good chunk of series that are getting set for their final races before we break for the Christmas series. I know among those will be the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series. They have their last race, and that will be at the Talladega. Sorry, no, that'll be at the. Sorry, they got 2 more races left. I'm jumping ahead of myself here.
Oh, they got more than that. They got more than that.
Yeah, they have 2 more. They have Iowa and then Talladega, and then they break for 2 weeks because their next 2 races are literally on Christmas and New Year's Day. And to say attendance for those would be light is a bit of an understatement. So a 2-week break for them, and one of the longest breaks the season will be taking mid-season. I know LTAC in a couple weeks, they're going to take a 1-week break after their next race this coming Friday. TNGG is taking a break after this week as well. They're off next week as well, as they are going to be breaking for the Christmas weekend as well. So a lot of series have some of their final races going to be coming on up here in the next little while for the holiday season, and I think that's reasonable. It's going to slow down a good bit, but we're looking to return in full force. The Beer League is returning on Wednesday nights, and not only are they returning, but they got a car that I certainly was not expecting this. They were doing a lot of testing with GT4 cars to replace the Mustang because they have a new car every single season. So I was hearing all sorts of things about GT4s. We'll test them here, we'll test them there, we'll see how they work. And I heard next to nothing. And then I got the announcement, oh yeah, by the way, we're running the late model stock. So
I love the Beer League.
It's one of the only 8-shifter cars out there, but I guess it'll work. So I don't know how that's going to work if you go to a faster track like Le Mans, but we'll find out, I guess, won't we? It's going to be a wild season, though. Pretty much. That's the Beer League mantra. Just send her bud. Pace truck pulls down, and then AJ Maglio, Robert Jordan, Brett Rucker, all still out of the racetrack after not pitting. They might not be safe to the end. Green flag's up in the air with 19 to go.
Oh, the outside line didn't go. Not one bit whatsoever on the outside. Tough break for a lot of those fast trucks on the outside. The 6, the 052, Slagle and Raymond, 2 of our fastest trucks, both get caught up in that outside line. Now fighting for 5th. 6, accident in the back, coming out of turn number 2. Multiple drivers wrecking to the inside, down on the apron. Maybe far enough away where the caution flag will stay away. Looks like we're going to be fine. Stay green.
Might not be for long, though. We're 3 wide, 2 rows deep, working on to turn numbers 3 and 4 onto the front straightaway. There we go. Slagle dumped to the outside wall. And we got more trouble. Big crowd to the 35 on the front straightaway. Brett Rucker just went face first into the outside wall at about 180 miles an hour.
We just saw the same wreck back to back within 5 seconds. That's what we just saw.
What? Why? What caused all of that?
That was awful. I mean, we don't need ambulances. We need the entire hospital shipped over here.
Wide.
I mean, that was it was huge. It was massive.
So that's what all happened there. Then we look up to what happened to Brad Slagle and co. And this is all working out of turn numbers 3 and 4.
Bam.
That's a hard shot to the outside wall. Then look at Brett Rucker. Boy, he had Paul Witt. That would have broken the safer barrier. That would be a red flag for a wall repair, wouldn't bet, if this were the real world.
That was so tough. I mean, literally the same wreck twice going out of the corner. I mean, multiple drivers taken out of that one. That dwindles the field. Multiple guys having to take a tow, having heavy damage, gonna go to the back, gonna be off the pace. I mean, huge pack coming off the corner. That's what you expect, but unfortunately, who is that? Was that Pate? Or sorry, not the 052.
And Gudger, and then boom, hard into the outside wall, up the road for the 35.
Slagle came down and kind of started the whole thing. Gosh.
Look at the 40 truck. Just barely blitzed through the middle of all of that. We'll have to get a look on who that was, because that's impressive in its own right. Working out of the final corner, and there's the first hit right there. And then bang! Good glory. It does not get much harder than that, and still trying to track down who the 40 is. And I'm willing to bet it's not an actual 40 truck. It's somebody that's cosplaying as a 40 here, and they're scored as something else, because I don't have a 40 on my scoring pylon right now. But
what a faker.
Sorry, what now?
So what a faker.
No kidding. Right, take a look from the air, and I mean,
Oh.
the 99 went sliding through the infield as well. Then,
oh, the second one was worse, man. The second one was worse.
Oh, it definitely was. It absolutely was. Let's get a look from the spotter stand, and we'll see what properly happened to really kick this second incident off.
I think it was mostly a reaction from the first one.
I almost
think it was
feel
mostly
like it
a reaction.
was. So there's the initial incident, and then Rucker went down, got into, I think, is that Paul Witt? It is, and then right to the inside, and then
35 had contact in the initial incident, never had it
he nearly
saved.
flipped over, you know.
Cool. This is real life. I'm sitting here hoping and praying everybody's okay. You know, like that's how heavy that accident was. I mean, whew.
And then it was Elric George, who is in a 40 truck, that got around this mess, right on board.
Wow, we were talking crap about him, and he's actually in the right thing. Shoot.
There's one.
Man. Slow down, buddy. Slow down. Brake pedal.
Just blitzing through the middle.
Man. I spent $400 on my pedals. I'm definitely going to use the $200 brake pedal on the left whenever I need to. That's all I can say, man. I mean, like, goodness gracious. I mean, you look cool when you look cool whenever you get through like that. I'll give it to you. You got some style points, but man, you're asking for it.
So we'll have 13 laps to go when we take the green flag. I don't like that as an omen, considering how wild the second half of this race has been. It doesn't bode well.
Hey, we got 14 laps to go, 13 green on the green flag. These guys are going to be gunning for it. This is going to be fantastic. Almost new tires. Cannot wait to get this thing back to green, back going. 13 laps to go. Pace truck, get off the racetrack.
Making that hard left-hand turn down in the pit road. All eyes on A.J. Maglio. Still has not come down to pit road. Green flag is back in the air.
caution does help him. You got to think he can save a little bit more fuel, but Josh Berry on the outside, trying to make it work in the 51.45 on your time and scoring there on the left of the left of your screen. But Maglio trying to make it work on the inside of the racetrack, coming out of turn number 2. Had a pretty good run through the corner. It looks like Berry's going to be able to get down there, side draft him down the back straightaway. But the driver of the 1 able to get out to the race lead as the caution comes out once again.
And Jerry Turner is into the outside wall, and that's what brings out our next caution.
Oh, they're wrecking again off of 4.
Oh,
Multiple
really?
drivers hard into the outside wall coming out of turn 4.
And that's well after the caution came out.
What's going on?
That was Jordan Young that went into the outside wall for the second time. Jerry Turner was the first one. So
I think there was a second one.
No, Jerry Turner was the one that got into the outside wall entering turn number 3. So we'll get a
No,
look.
but I think there was a second one in turn 4 is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well,
there
I
were
think
multiple.
I mean, Young's the one that also hooked the 41 into that outside wall, and he turned the 22 around as well. So they both went into the outside wall, and that's what happened to Gary Turner and Abram Gostin. And then you had Jordan Young. Oh, he got taken out, not by Gudger. I can't tell who that was that wiped him out. It's one of those yellow trucks, though, that kind of got into that, and that slid the 99.
The truck that wiped him out was involved in the incident, but I don't really think the 99 was at fault for it.
It's the 57 of Jeff Gilmore, who's been in a few ranks of his own tonight.
Well,
no, not involved at all, and oh, that paints a very different story right there. He just took him out.
that was a
That's, I mean,
that was blatant.
Obvious is the word I would go for.
I don't know. It was hard racing on the back straightaway. I don't think that it was anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he didn't actually damage him at all. Like, I don't.
The 57 is kind of making the 99 get a little bit lower, and the 99 has to go down a good bit. Takes out the driver under him. I don't know. I don't know why the 57 of all people is the one that's so mad that he's got to take out the 99. That's a little confusing to me.
You know what? Let's actually jump back.
Look at how much he's pinching him off the back.
Well, let's jump back a ways more here. I wanted something to happen here on the restart. So there's the 57. He's up top of the 99. Luckily, they're two very distinctly colored trucks, so they're very easy to spot.
Well, I mean, definitely some contact.
I mean, there's no contact there. None there either. I mean, that's just racing, and I mean, nothing the 57 did wrong. And I would say nothing the 99 did wrong. I don't get it. Why would you do that?
I got to be honest. I don't blame the 57 for being frustrated. The 99 was driving a little over the top, a little over his head, kind of forcing into a hole that's not really there, in a sense. But the 57 wasn't really involved too heavy in the accident, and I don't know why you would be so upset in that moment, why you would go after him. That's my thing. I think that he has every right to be upset with the 99 in that situation, but
it's not that
upset.
bad, right? Like, it's not like he's the one that got turned.
Exactly. The other two guys, yeah, they have every right, right? They have every right to be upset. But the 57, it was fine. I'm just a little lost to that one.
Strange incident there, late in the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. We'll be back with the remainder of the race in just a moment on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com. 'Cause 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 'cause
Well, it's been a wild race so far. We are 8 cautions deep with 8 laps to go when we take that green flag. Maglio still has the race lead. Josh Berry down in second. With these cautions, I think Maglio has a shot on going for the race lead, but I think, or for the race win, excuse me. But I think it would still be close.
Do you think we have more cautions?
I think yes.
Ooh, you had to think on that one. That was a pretty long pause there to find your answer.
I had to have a think. Usually we are fairly solid. But I mean, you never quite know. Pace truck's off. Green flag's out. We are back racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Barry Mealy pulling around the top, and boy, rebounding right down into Maglio.
I thought we were having the big one right at the front of the field here for the race lead with 8 laps to go. They're side by side coming off of turn 2. Oh, nobody giving an inch as 85 almost goes to the inside wall. What a 2-tire skating save on the inside of the apron. Now coming back up into the field in turn 3. Looks like he's going to get back on the racetrack, but they're still side by side up towards the front of the field. Josh Berry trying to take the race lead on the outside of the 0-3.
Well, I think that has made it the most definite we're not making it back without at least one more caution flag yet, as Maglio trying to fire his way up and around the racetrack. Josh Berry going with them. Oh, there we go! Contact! And around will go Maglio, spinning hard to the inside wall, and he'll rebound off, but no caution. We will keep it green as Berry clears for the lead out of 4.
And they're 4 wide further back in the pack coming out of turn number 3. Fighting hard for every position. Josh Berry to the race lead, but he's got pressure now from Bill Hales right on his back. Bumper had a huge run coming off of turn 4. The front 4 single file, but everything behind him is just unbelievable. Oh, hard in the outside wall out of turn 2. Somebody, I couldn't quite tell who it was, but they keep it straight. Tough contact, falling further throughout the field, but it's still a hornet's nest all the way from 6 on back.
Oh, we got more trouble up at the front as Raymond put onto the apron. That was by the 053, and finally, the caution will wave. We couldn't make it. Has Bradford hard to the outside wall. Brennan Gregg's involved. Matthew Miles, I believe, may have gotten into that, and one truck slid to a stop. That would be the 24/13 of Mike Bagwell.
That was a huge one coming off of 4-2.
There's a lot.
Didn't quite even know where to look. I mean, there was just so much going on everywhere on the racetrack. And then all of a sudden, they're wrecking. It ended up being a huge one coming back to the start finish.
Well, you know what? Let's look right for the back, and we'll work our way up. So we'll track first with the one of AJ Maglio, who got turned early on the restart here. So first the 85 and his wild save. And you're going to see him slide way to the bottom of the racetrack there and just able to keep that thing out of the inside wall. I think that's got to be one of the most impressive saves we've seen of the race so far, as it does not get much closer than that, as that was Turner going around, and then a lap later on the back straightaway, Maglio was going to get dumped, and this is what happened there as the one truck went for a ride on the backstretch.
Yeah, Barry pinches him coming off of turn number 2, well within his right. You know, he's not too far down the racetrack, but the 1 or the 03 really in the race just kind of comes up the racetrack a little bit on the back straightaway. They're already off the corner and just kind of comes up. Maybe if he does that a little bit earlier and takes kind of dominance of the lane, maybe you pass it off and they don't actually wreck like that, but wait until the back straightaway. I just feel like, you know, the lanes had been established and he came up across his lane and kind of turned himself, unfortunately, but then the huge wreck on the front straightaway. I mean, slow motion replay of that. The 35 gets turned hard to the outside. 27, innocent bystander, just gets spun right around in front of the field. Heavy contact in the outside. 27 pound into the outside twice, then in the front end. I mean, goodness. Multiple impacts, multiple drivers involved.
Matthew Miles was among one of those drivers, so was Gary Turner, and there you see the carnage working out of the final corner there. We'll get one more look back, and this will be a bit of a better angle here, as Matthew Miles had to slide to a near stop to get around this. And for Gary Turner, it was not ideal as it was just 3 wide, and that was never going to work. Brendan Gray got involved. The 41 truck of Turner got spun around. Bawalda just parting the seas down the middle there. Got through that as Bagwell went for a slide as well. We'll get a look back and try to find John Bawalda Jr. because holy cow, it does not get much closer than this right on board with that number 5.
And you can tell the urgency has just picked up like crazy. I mean, we're getting down to the end of this thing. Everybody gunning for every position possible. Unfortunately, typically that ends in heartbreak for most people, most often than not. Multiple accidents towards the end of this. Looking at the replay of the 5, I mean, just the way.
Oh, has he actually been nicked there?
He has.
He may have, yes.
Hey, that's you're basically through clean. That's pretty impressive. I'll give it to him.
I agree. I think it'd be a bit harsh if he didn't give it to him. Here's a look from the air, and you'll see Bawalda come flying in. There's the number 5, and yeah, I'll count that as getting around that without a scratch.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's got a scratch, but he got around it. He got around it without wrecking or causing damage, you know. I'm being a little too critical, maybe.
So we are going to be into overtime here. So this is overtime attempt number 1, and it is our only overtime attempt as well. This series only has 1 green-white checkered attempt. So here, it's make it or break it, right? You do not have another chance. You have to go, go, go. It is everything now with 2 laps remaining.
Oh, boy. I was talking about the intensity picking up. I can't imagine it right now. I mean, goodness, if you're up towards the front. Raymond's been up front all day. You'd almost feel hard-pressed for him not to walk away with the W. Barry's worked his way up towards the front, towards the end, through strategy, just towards pushing his way up towards the front all night, picking his way up through the field, working from 30th up to the race lead. But, hey, a lot of guys up front deserving of it. We're going to figure out who's most deserving right now. 2 laps to go.
Pace truck will be down and into pit row, this time by, as Josh Berry has the race lead. Bill Hales alongside him, Jim Duda, a mainstay contender trying to see if he can take his first win on the season. Green flag is in the air for the final time tonight from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Oh, hard crash in the back, and that's
the race. Well, that was rather underwhelming. Not the way we wanted to have this race come to blows, but that will be the race, and I believe that gives it to Josh Berry. Unless for some reason we end up getting another restart, but I don't imagine we would. I think one Greenway checkered has been the mainstay so far, and I mean, that's just John Holiday taking out Christopher Alani, and that's just clumsy, if you ask me.
It's clumsy for both of them.
They're trying to catch the pace truck right now, too, so that's why we're kind of where we're at here, and why we're still more or less at speed. Oh, easy there. If you go too far out, you're going to get penalized, and then you don't get the win at all. But Josh Berry on our 10th yellow flag of the night. He'll come around and return numbers 3 and 4, and it will be Josh Berry in his Chevy Silverado to come home and take the checkered flag at the end of the night. Not the way we wanted to end this race, and a rather underwhelming way to end this race indeed. So Berry will sweep home and be your race winner under caution at the end of the night.
Unfortunately, I feel like we had a very...
Going through the Legends Oval. They were
severely,
really done.
but it's not. No, but I feel like we had a very anticlimactic ending. But honestly, I feel like we had a really good race tonight. A lot of comers and goers. Didn't really know who was going to win that thing until late. So pretty good race all the way through. Just kind of unfortunate with the things played out at the very, very ending of it. But really good race here tonight.
So as Josh Berry work his way out the final corner, he's going to get taken out by the 18 and swing and a miss once, twice. There we go. He got it the third time. As he'll get to, well, maybe burn it down to the front straightaway. We'll see if the 18 truck will let him here in this one. But I think this is two friends at this point just having a bit of fun after the checkered flag. But Josh Berry, your race winner at the end of the night, as we'll get the chance to now take a rundown of what your official post-race results look like after a very wild night here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And taking the checkered flag at the end of it all, it is going to be none other than Josh Berry, with Bill Hills in second, Jim Duda was third, Aaron Raymond fourth, Zane Bailey fifth, Brian Huntley Jr. in sixth, Charlie Birch in seventh, Ryan McRoberts eighth, Michael Gudger in ninth. Brett Slagle rounds out the top 10.
11th was Jorge Rincon. 12th, Kyle Howard. 13th, Elridge George. 14th, Jeffrey Sinclair. 15th, Mike Bagwell. 16th, Raymond Hanneman. 17th, Brennan Gregg. 18th, Abram Ghostin. 19th, Jerry Turner. And 20th, John Holiday.
Continuing down through the field, you got 21st, Paul Witt. Christopher Lonnie was in 22nd. Brett Rucker, 23rd. John Walton Jr., 24th. Jeff Gilmore, 25th, as we're into the used car lot now. Aaron Bradford, Matthew Miles, Robert Jordan, Jordan Young, and AJ Magliel will round out the top 30.
'31st is going to be James Worsman. 32nd being Mike McGavick. 33rd being Frederick Hofstetter. David Adamson coming on 34th, Razor Cud 35th, Richard Johns 36th, Thomas Lane Jr. 37th, Mike Allen 38th, Dale Rapp 39th, and Ruben Bermudez 40th.
Austin Rez brings it home at the number 41 spot. Kevin Crawford and James Moon, along with Dan Witt, were the last trucks to actually take to the start. And that will leave Shane Calhoun, along with Jeremy Funk, Alsleitner, Spruill, Williams, Campbell, Brown, and continuing on down, it'll be Parker, Bryan, Higgins, Bark, Hooligan, Lester, Henrique, Brooks, Powers, and then right at the tail end of the field, that was it to close out. 59 trucks registered at the end of the day. Only 44 actually made the race start, as the bottom 15 or so had opted to depart before the session began. But again, as you pointed out, a very, very wild race here tonight. And we will now get the chance to talk to everybody at the end of the race that put on such a phenomenal show for all of us here involved. And we'll, of course, kick things off. Well, we'll hopefully kick this off with Josh Berry. It is an open session, right? So it's always going to be a case of you can't really anticipate who's going to come in and who's going to join us. But we'll thankfully get the chance to speak to Josh Berry, the driver that will come home as the race winner here at the end of the night. And, well, for Josh, it's, I don't think, quite the way he was hoping to take the race win here tonight. A very underwhelming way to end the race after the wild action that we saw early on. But still, a win's a win, Josh, and you take that 51/45/15 over into victory lane.
Thank you.
Well, overall, walk us through the race here today. It was a really clean opening start, and then, boy, the strategy got kicked up on its head throughout the middle portion of this race. What was it like to kind of work around that throughout the race here today at Vegas?
Well, I gotta say the cautions definitely helped me because I started 30th, was able to work my way up during the green flag, and then the caution came out while I was inside the top 10, the first one, and that kind of just saved my day.
Of course, the yellow flags you mentioned were the way you wanted to go. How do you feel about this race ended under that yellow flag, though? Was that something you were hoping for, or were you hoping that one would go green to the end?
I wanted it to go green to the end because I thought it would be a cool finish, but the yellow was okay.
Looking forward now into the next week, I believe we'll be running down to, I think it's Michigan coming on up next in the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. But it's going to be a very wild rest of this race. Sorry, it's Talladega up next on December 16th. What's going to be the game plan then when we go racing down in Alabama at the biggest, baddest track on the circuit?
I think stay in the back for a bit, wait for the wrecks to develop, and just have the right strategy, and you'll be good.
That seems to be the name of the game in most races so far. And thank you, Josh Berry, for taking the time to join us up here in the broadcast booth. We'll wish you the best of luck when we return to racing action next week.
All right, thank you.
That was Josh Berry joining us up here in the broadcast booth. And with that, we'll bring up Bill Hales, the driver that finishes number 2 in a side-by-side, quote-unquote, photo finish with Josh Berry. That one, and Austin, you're standing by with number 2.
Bill, I'm sure you wanted that one to go a little bit different. Kind of a tough break at the end with the caution. Kind of walk us through your race. What did you see from the cockpit of that 53, and what did you want to go a little bit different at the end?
Well, I thought the race was going well due to the tire setup. The first 50 laps, you had to save tires, so I went like 50 laps before I took my first set of tires, and then midway through the race, when I took my second, a bunch of people just took gas, and it dropped me back to like 22nd. We drove ourselves up to the 9th, and then we had a bunch of restarts. When I found that I was pretty fast running the middle on the outside, where people on the inside were having to check up, so I was able to work my way up. I think it was like 10 to go. I was sitting 4th on the outside, and we had a caution. Then it was just restart after restart. But that last restart, it'd been nice to go green. I was going to ride his door through 1 and 2 and try to get away from him, but good win for him. But it was a good race, good points tonight, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I feel like all throughout the race, we weren't necessarily able to tell kind of who a favorite was just off of the strategy with the tire sets. Was there ever a time through that race you were just kind of like, oh man, am I on the wrong strategy? Because we really didn't talk about you too much throughout the night. Then towards the end, you popped up in the right place at the right time.
No. We had practiced. We had run wide open in the practice on our fuel run, and we realized if we just worked it a little bit, we could save that right front, get it down to about 80%. We knew we were going to have to run at least on one set of tires at least 50 laps. So I thought we were sitting good. I did have a second thought when I came out 22nd with about, 45 to go. But like I said, once I realized that I was pretty fast on the middle line, that's where I stayed at the rest of the night. If you watched the moves I was making, I was really just going side drafting and moving past them on the back stretch or through the tri-oval. But all in all, good night, good points night. I'll take it.
Well, congratulations, Bill, on coming home P2. What are you looking forward to next week at Talladega? What's going to be your strategy there?
Talladega, just to try to stay up front. I run pretty good there. I've got quite a few wins there, so we'll see what I can do. Try to qualify on the front row, stay there. It depends on what the fuel mileage is going to be too. But I plan to run up front as much as I can.
Well, congratulations on your P2 here tonight, Bill, and we're looking forward to seeing you up front next week in Talladega.
All right, buddy. Have a good night. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Bill. You too. That was going to be our P2 finisher, Bill Hales. I'm going to throw it back over to Nolan. I don't think we have our third place finisher in here. I'm going to have to throw it over to him to figure that out.
We do not indeed have our third place finisher for us here tonight. It's looking like it's going to be just the top 2 here in this one. But boy, oh boy, what an intense race it was here tonight. About 10 cautions total to close things out. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be a wild race next week when we return to the Talladega SuperSpeedway. If you're ever going to get a big field, it's going to be there. It's always at Talladega, right? Now, it could go one of 2 ways. It could go great. It could go horribly. Daytona went great. Phenomenal race. Phenomenal finish. I have a very good feeling Talladega is going to be a race to remember.
Talladega's always a race to remember. Love that racetrack. I mean, I'm a little biased, my home racetrack, but man, can never go wrong with Talladega SuperSpeedway. Going to be an interesting one to watch next week. I don't think you need me for the broadcast, right? I might, if it's an open or a hosted race, I might just jump in and race it.
Well, there you go. You can spend your Saturday night racing over here in the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. And if you want to get on the Green Flag TV, well, look no further than the the third seasonal Green Flag Derby, this time from the brand new Slinger Speedway. That's coming up tomorrow on Sunday night. Practice is opening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is open to the public. Winner gets $40. 3 heat races with 10 laps apiece, and then a 30-lap main event to cap off the night. We go green at 8:30 p.m. So that'll be coming on up tomorrow night. And then, of course, the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series returns to the Iowa Speedway on Monday night, where Austin will join me back up here in the broadcast booth. For now, thank you all so much for joining us out here tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. I've been Ola Ramble alongside Austin Edstrom. We have been bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from the TNGG IEL SuperSpeedway Blitz. We'll see you all next time when we go racing in Alabama.